All right, now you know how to edit spreadsheets. Let's have a go at building ourselves a basic home loan schedule. We'll start with some column headings. You have to know what you're doing. I'm going to start with, it doesn't really matter where you put this. So let's get started and put in some column headings. I'm going to need my month number, my principal, my amount of interest, my repayment, and my balance at the end. So this is a very simple spreadsheet. At the end, I'm going to show you some tips for how to improve, things you can do to make this more flexible, but I wanted to start with something very simple. So the month is going to start at month 1, then month 2, and so on. Excel can fill in those month numbers for me. I don't have to worry about it. Let's start with a basic loan of $300,000. Get the right number of zeros in there. How much interest? Well, my interest is going to be my principal times by my interest rate. Let's go for 4%, 0.04. And the time is 1/12 of a year. So I'm really going divided by 12 to get 1 month's interest. Okay. My repayment amount, I have no idea what it needs to be, so let's just pick a number. And my balance for the end of this month is going to be the amount I started with plus the interest I owe minus the amount I've paid back. So after 1 month, I now owe this much money. I can then copy those down. The only problem is it's going to increase my repayment and my principal by $1 because that's the default what Excel does. Instead, what I want is this principal to be the balance from the previous month. So I'm going to go equals the balance of the previous month. The repayment, I want to be the same as the month before. I'm going to go equals the month before. Now I've got a basic spreadsheet that I can copy down. It might still get the month wrong. Let's try it. Drag down another year. Looks like it's working fine. Some of you are going to be bothered that these don't have dollar signs on them. We can fix that. Just highlight the columns you want. If they weren't all together, you see I just dragged across. If they weren't together, you only wanted to change a couple of columns, you highlight one up here on the letter, and then you hold down Control and then select the next column. So I'm going to select all of these columns and I'm going to say dollars, please. And there's my schedule. There's my first 2 rows. I actually filled 1 extra row in before I filled the rest just to make sure it was copying right. What you can now do is fill down as long as you need to go. So grab that little box in the bottom right corner, little square, and drag it down as far as you need to go. If it's a 30-year loan, you need to go to 360. You can look at the numbers on the left-hand side. They'll be close, but there's a little trick here. The trick is this is not month 360. This is row 360 on the spreadsheet. This is month 360. Now, you'll notice the default for the dollar format is actually putting negative numbers in brackets. That's why these numbers are in brackets. What I can do is I can go up until I find where it's not in brackets. This was at the end of month 330. I owed $198.66. The following month, I paid 66 cents interest. I actually paid more than I had to get to my final amount. This point here, I have now paid off my loan. Here, paid off. Okay? That's 331 months. Notice, not 333. How many years is that? 331 divided by 12. Oops, I've got my equal sign. Equals 331 divided by 12. That is 27 years and some number of months. How many months is that? 0.5833 times 12. That is 7 months. 27 years and 7 months I've paid it off. So let me go back up to the top and summarise for you. start by working out what you actually want to find. That's your column headings. Don't stress about formatting and prettiness and everything until you've got a spreadsheet that works. You can go back now later, highlight, format, bars, columns, whatever you want. Set up the column headings, make your first couple of rows work. Be careful with this principle should be here. Then you can fill down and then you can find how long it took you to pay it off. How much money did I spend by doing that, by the way? Oops, I went too far. If I got to here, how much money did I spend paying it off? I spent 330 months of $1,500 plus another $198.66, no, plus another 66 cents interest. You can't just add on this one because you'll pay too much. So you could go, the amount I paid was 330 times 1,500 plus this amount plus the interest for the last month. That's the total amount I paid on my $300,000 loan. Yes, that number's big. Yes, that's correct.